As I was coming up to the stage, I was thinking, what's one truism that I can start the presentation with that really holds true, not only in life, but also in business? And what came to me was, we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. And I think that is actually quite an interesting one, because if you look at Buru and the 17 years that we've been around, there has been several kind of reimaginations of the business, but perhaps no stronger and no more purposeful than what has taken place over the last 2 years in particular. Yes, we have been around for 17 years. Yes, we have been the most prolific explorer in the Canning Basin of Western Australia. Yes, we've had various exploration success. Yes, we've had a very small and modest oil project that generated some revenue, but not until 2022 that our position and our direction has fundamentally changed. Because in 2022, we discovered Raphael, the only conventional gas and condensate discovery in onshore Western Australia, north of Karratha. And we independently got that certified, and then we went about changing. Changing towards refocusing the company, and towards realizing the Raphael gas project, which will deliver enduring material cash flows for the business, which will effectively give us the right and earn us the right for further growth. We also have a Mars prospect that is something that is currently under farm out, and it's not related to Raphael, but I want to bring it to your attention, and I'm happy to talk to you about that at the booth. So the key messages, for those of you that are getting a bit hyperglycemic and need to go out early, the key messages is all hands are on deck to realize the Raphael gas project, because it is transformational, a word that is overused. It is based on an existing resource. I'm not going to talk about the rocks. I don't actually care about the rocks, to be honest. And the 18, and sorry for the geos in the room, but the 18 or so presentations I've done over the last couple of weeks, over half of them started with, please don't tell us the rocks. Everyone's got great rocks. Tell us about the business. And I will talk about the business. I will talk about the available market. I will talk about a partnership. Buru is small. We can't do this alone. But over the last 6 months, we have actually partnered up with someone that can help us realize this opportunity. As I mentioned, material cash flows. And unlike explorers, I'm actually not going to talk about the big upside cases today, because everything, and I've asked the team to deliver everything to me, all the economics, all the volumes, all the market assumptions, all the capex assumptions on P90, the high confidence numbers. So what is the problem we are solving at Buru? We are actually solving a very old and enduring problem that is somewhat invisible to people in Perth. And that is every single molecule of thermal energy that goes into the Kimberley is trucked or shipped. If it's LNG, it comes from Karratha, and it makes its way up the Great Northern Highway in bullets, and it has been in the case for the last 20 years. By the time it gets to Broome, Derby, Luma Campbell, Fitzroy Crossing, Halls Creek, $23 is the bill, so just put that in your mind. $23 is what some of the developers are paying for up there. Mum and dads in Derby aren't paying $23 a gigajoule. Who's paying for it? The taxpayer. Why? Because there are enough riots already up there. You do not want to expose that level of cost to the population. So that it's been funded by the taxpayer and who's underwriting that Horizon Energy contract. The market is there, and the government has come out and said, look, we recognize it is insecure. We recognize when there's a cyclone that comes through the Great Northern Highway, fridges go warm in Derby. They recognize it's costly. They recognize that it has an environmental footprint that is a little bit on the nose, because these trucks, diesel-operated trucks, by the time they get to Halls Creek, they would have been on the tarmac for 1,400 kilometers. They also recognize that there are over 100 communities that rely on diesel for their primary power. So not gas, but diesel for their primary power. So maybe there is something that Buru can play a role in that. More on that in the second. So when I talk to the government, this is the single slide I talk to them. This is it. It basically shows that the Kimberley energy system is effectively an island within an island. It's not on the pipeline network. And right now, you can see the merits of the Raphael gas project, both in terms of cost, in terms of footprint, in terms of its synergy with renewables. So, I said I'm not going to talk about the rocks, so I'm not. But what I will talk about is the fact that we are basing everything, the 85 BCF of gas and the 1.8 million barrels of condensate, which, by the way, Cummins engines have signed off on as a contingent diesel replacement without any refining or treatment. You can put it into your pump and it chugs away. Everything is based on our 1C. Am I talking about the 2C, the 220, which is a technical case, best estimate? No. Or the 3C, which is over half a T. No one actually cares. When I talk to the capital markets, they just want a project. They want a project with high certainty of outcome, addressing a real problem. But there is upside. And not only there's upside in the 2C and the 3C, there's also one, it sounds a bit familiar, for those of you in the Perth Basin, we have got a structure about 470 meters below the imaged Raphael structure, the discovered structure which has been flow tested, that is potentially the same size as Raphael, 470 meters below. So when we go back in there, there's every chance we're going to tag it. Simple project. My career has been full of complicated projects that never happened. I really like simple projects, and we have found the simplest project. It sits on the existing well pad at Raphael 1. It is a small-scale LNG project that sits on 140 by 180 meter kind of plot. That means no additional clearing, there's no pipelines. It basically is a containerized 250 ton per annum, 250 ton per day LNG facility that works off our 1C. It will work for 20 years on the back of 2 wells. Worst case, 3 wells for deliverability. I need between 7 and 13 terajoules a day of constant flow to actually make that happen. Now, what has happened in February this year is we partnered up with a company, almost an overnight success. You know, you hear these overnight successes that have been incubated for the last 15 years. A company that is Perth-based called Clean Energy Fuels Australia. Clean Energy Fuels Australia have a very good track record of building, owning, and operating LNG facilities in Australia using existing solutions, existing technology. They were acquired by I2 Capital, very quietly behind the scenes, the world's 5th largest infrastructure fund out of Miami, USA. And they've been quietly building a virtual pipeline network up and down the coast of Western Australia, taking gas from the Dampier to Bunbury natural gas pipeline, converting it to LNG, and trucking it to remote locations, remote users. They've also, in February this year, very quietly acquired Wesfarmers' LNG distribution arm, Evol LNG. That gives them access to the largest LNG tanker fleet in Australia. They also have another company called Power Hybrid, which is a thermal or LNG solar hybrid solution for really remote operations. So these are our new partners. They have come, we've been working with them, we've got a strategic development agreement whereby they will come in and finance, build, own, operate, and distribute LNG and potentially condensate to a market from 2028 onwards, but they take no upstream risk. They're downstream players, right? So for us to actually for us to execute binding agreements, we need to prove up the resource. We know the resource is there, we need to prove up the deliverability of the resource. And to do that, we need to actually drill another well. Not only we need to drill another well, as in Raphael B we call it, but go back into the original proven and tested Raphael 1 well and recomplete it as a producer so that it can hang around for 20 years. The cost of that is $40 million. Now, here comes the bear trap, the West Perth bear trap. We are a $20 million market cap company, and we've got a $40 million work program next year to unlock the development, where 80% of the capex has been de-risked, provided we actually get an independent reserve certificate next year. So you can't apply traditional thinking to these things. So we are in the process of running a series of data rooms to attract, most likely, a non-traditional partner. That's the best way I can describe it. A strategic partner that will come in, that will assist in funding the appraisal program, because they're not coming in for subsurface risk. They're coming in to be part of a business that will generate, on gross terms, $70 million per annum. $70 million per annum. Now, previously, we would have run a process. Someone comes in, looks at the rocks for weeks, looks at the models for weeks, and goes, okay, well, that's all very well. Let's have a bit of a think about how you could commercialize this. Well, we've de-risked the subsurface as much as we can. This is a low-risk appraisal program, if not a development program. When I'm actually speaking to government, I'm referring to this as a development program next year. Remember how I said the market's paying $23 a gigajoule? It's the first time I've kind of shared this level of information with the market, but it just helps you understand, based on those gas prices and based on those condensate prices, what the size of the price is. Will Buru benefit from 100% of that? No, because of that $70, you have to actually take off a tariff that we will be paying to CEFA so that they can recoup their investment, including transportation and storage. If we are doing a deal with a strategic partner, no doubt they would want to have exposure to that as well. But the answer lies between, I would say, $25 and $40 million in terms of Buru return per annum. Everyone talks about value staircases and de-risking. We've been busy. We've got 8 people in the company today on a full-time equivalent basis. And we have jettisoned all of the distractions that we've had. We've divested non-core activities. We've shrunk our G&A and G&G to give us a good runway. And you think the market kind of realizes that? No, but it takes a lot of shoe leather. It takes a lot of repeated advocacy for folks to understand what you're trying to build. Gas projects are very different. This isn't a huge gas project. It's a small gas project, but with material impact, positive impact, not only on Buru through cash flow, shareholder returns, but also the regional community as well. The main catalyst will be when we secure that upstream development partner. We've got the downstream. We need to secure the upstream development partner. So, last slide. The Kimberley energy system is outdated. Go home, tell people. Okay? Why? Because it relies on really long-haul trucking, which is costly, it's insecure, and it has a stinky environmental footprint. The Kimberley energy system is changing. The government has come out and clearly said from the 1st of January 2028, we need an option. We need a different option. Whether we end up being part of the solution, i.e. being the primary source of thermal generation, or as a firming power, or as a firming source, is to be determined, but we've accounted for that in our economic scenarios. We are the only game in town as far as conventional gas and liquids is concerned. It's a proven resource. We have actually flowed it, and we're working everything off the 1C. And finally, we're not doing this alone. We've got a great partner who's looking at us to continue to de-risk the subsurface so that the paymaster in Miami can actually deploy that capital. That's, I think, it. Yes, it is. So come on board, come and see me. I'm at the booth for the rest of the day. Come and see me, ask all the questions you like. If you'd like more detail on the rocks, we've got detail on the rocks. And also, I encourage those of you that are looking for a really interesting oil play to also come and see us, because we have commenced a farm out for a conventional oil play that is within cooee distance of an existing processing facility up in the Kimberley. Thank you very much.